All right, we are live from my home here in San Diego, California. My name's Jesse, and I wanted to share with you today just the progress with my book, Surfing the Middle East. It's a travel adventure book from surfing from Israel to Lebanon. After I graduated college, couldn't find a job, and the only thing I got was this freelance assignment from the Surfer's Journal. And as you can tell, I love to travel. I've got the bullfight pictures up there. I've got a Persian New Year flag over here. It's just, I love it. I think that one of the best things people can do in their lives is travel and experience new things. So I decided to take my experience surfing the Middle East and create a product out of it, which is a book, and then I have an iPad app that's over there that we won't get into today. So anyway, here's the cover of Surfing the Middle East, and I really like it because it's sort of this moody, like almost like Apocalypse Now kind of thing. It's real serious. It's not some cheeky smart-ass thing that sometimes you see Hollywood do. So I really love just kind of how moody the cover is. Then on the back, I have testimonials, which are blurbs from people who've endorsed the product. And then, by the way, the subtitle is Deviant Journalism from the Lost Generation, which I thought was pretty fun. So then you open kind of the fires of surfing the Middle East, and you get this. And what you can see here is the color scheme is totally different from the cover. It's almost like blue, like it extinguishes the hellish fires. And we've got this beautiful little ocean animation scene with a surfboard, a fire. It's like a post-apocalyptic, post-war, like maybe the 2006 war between Israel and Lebanon. And I love that. And you can see we have copy, little plug on the iPad app right there, a QR code down here. And notice that right here on the flap, it perfectly lines up with the end pages, which I think is so cool. It's going to provide an out-of-the-box experience for people that they're really like, okay, now we're in it. Now we're going. As soon as they open the book, I think that's one of the most important things in developing a product is you're selling the experience of surfing the Middle East. I think that's really important. I've been reading the Steve Jobs book by Walter Isaacson, and there's just been some brilliant little things I've taken away from that I've been kind of writing down all day. Like when they just created the new blue iMac, Bill Gates scoffed. He said, we'll slap a color on the PCs and it'll be fine. And then, of course, Steve Jobs and the Apple team says, they think it's so stupid. They think it's a fashion is what made iMac successful. It just shows that they just didn't understand the product. They didn't get that the design reflects the essence of what you're trying to communicate. And so I'm taking that and heating that with this, my product, even though it's quite different than an iMac, and I'm trying to really get that first experience. Then you can see on the second, so then after you get this, in here, this is a dummy I printed out. The whole book would be in here, and you have 250 pages of text, a 16-page color insert of all the travel and stuff along the way, and I'll get to that just in a second. But then when you fold it to the other side, you get the last end page, which is very much like the first image, which I'll show you again, except for that with this image, it's a real photo I took. This was taken the first time I surfed in Lebanon. The first morning, I just walked right out of the bush and saw this beautiful old lantern, this power plant, this sandbar break right here called Gia in South Lebanon, just breaking perfectly in the morning. Anyway, this will be on the back end page. Then here, you see another text box, an author picture. Took this, hiring some fishermen to take my friend and I out to a great surf spot in Mexico. That was real cool. And then here's the copy down here, and then you turn it over, and you're back in the fiery hells of the outside. It's very interesting. It's the experience I want to communicate is the intensity up front, and then just the cool aquatic blue, almost putting it out, maintaining the intensity, but maybe getting you into it. I think that's a really important element of design in this. You know, most people who create books, especially travel books, don't do that kind of thing. They won't print on the end pages because it's too expensive. They won't really turn around and rework and work the design so that you really find and get to the essence of a product. You know, you see all the complexities, but you want to boil it down to what is the product and making it as simple and streamlined as possible. So, that being said, it gets a little more complicated when we get into the insert, which is the center of the book. And here I have all these big, large pages, which are roughly how big they'll be in the actual book. And here's the cover of the insert right here. It probably looks really complicated at first glance, but when you start to get into it, you see just some beautiful original art that I developed and designed along the way of surfing the Middle East. You see a picture right there of when I was covering a West Bank protest. You see this beautiful cresting wave right here with an Israeli flag in the background, and this great piece of original art my friend did about the route you have to take to surf from Israel to Lebanon because the border here is closed. It's, the countries are still technically at war with each other. So here's another close-up. It's pretty neat. And then I'm just going to give a real quick brush through of these sample layout pages. Of course, these will be folded, but it just takes you through the experience of what was surfing the Middle East and the collage. And yeah, you can really see that. And you know, for a while I was kind of heeding the Steve Jobs wisdom of elegance and product, and thinking, you know, oh, maybe I shouldn't have made it so complicated. You know, maybe I shouldn't have collaged like this. Here's another great page. But I really feel that having a slightly overwhelming, intense collage experience in the middle of the book is going to provide a real, like, vicarious, like, you're in there now. You know, you are held in there right in the middle of the book. It's right in the middle of the narrative. And people are going to flip it open, look at the end pages, and they go straight to the insert. And they're going to feel like they're in this experience. And the chaos, you know, it's surfing the Middle East. I mean, it is from Israel to Lebanon. You go through the West Bank, Jordan, fly over Syria into Lebanon. It's a very complicated thing to do. And it's very chaotic at the time. So to do it and have it in the middle is exactly the kind of art I want to convey in that. Because the end pages are supposed to look simple and crisp and, you know, almost just like moody. But then when you get into it, in the center of the book, with these inserts, it's almost going to come alive like a travel journal. So that's something I really wanted to do. You know, more from the Steve Jobs book. It's been like my Bible, getting through it. Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, the sum of what I've learned and what I've been taking in from Walter Isaacson's account of it is that Steve Jobs and how Apple was working during that period is that you really want to focus on what makes a good product. How do you put something that the consumers feel like they can physically master and own and experience? And you know, you obviously need to take into account costs, but you have to have a good product. It's like a drummer in a band. If you don't have that bass, that bottom, the whole thing falls apart. And creating a good product is something I'm passionate about, and I really see this in this phase as the track we're heading on. But as you can tell, I mean, I'm just, you know, sitting down. I've got just papers everywhere. It's great. It's chaos. It's refining it all into a simple, elegant product, a 6x5 book, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and a month and a half from now, Surfing the Middle East will be out on hardcover on Amazon.com. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.